Okay, so let's start with this second picture. Remember, the first one was the big one about Saint Patrick's life. So, first of all, I would like to know, I would like you to tell me what is going on here. You know, um, so pause the video and answer this question in a general term, in general terms. Well, I hope you have done so. Now ask you specific questions just to kind of refine your last answer, you know? So my first question is, among those people there, you know, who is St. Patrick? You know, who is St. Patrick? Answer? Well, I'm not going to give you the answer now. Uh, but my next question is, this man here, mm, how is he feeling? You know, answer. Next question, why is he feeling that way? Answer. Next question, what does he want? And then answer. Okay. My next question is, who is this woman and who is this baby and what is going on? Answer. Okay. My next question is, who is this man? I mean, his profession, occupation, and what is he doing? Answer. Okay, very nice. And then we cannot forget there is another person in the background, right? So my question for you is, what is that man doing? What is going on? All right. My next question, how many saints are there in the picture there? Well, it's difficult to say for sure how many saints are there, but we can kind of guess. Try to analyze the elements there and see if you can answer this question. Okay. Well, uh, let me see. Okay, I think that's it. So now I'm gonna tell you what is going on. First of all, we can see there are two saints in this picture. How do I know there are two saints? Because if you look at this man's head and at the baby's head there, you see that they have a kind of aura around it. And in religious paintings, it represents sanctity, right? It means that they are saints. Okay, if those two guys are saints, and this is about the life of Saint Patrick, then we will know for sure that one of them, if not both, right, are St. Patrick. What do I mean, if not both? Keep in mind that when we are talking about religious paintings, sometimes it's not important not to put the same person two times in the painting. All right. I don't know if I can find very fast for you Adam and Eve. But there's a very interesting painting. I have worked with this painting here in the channel, uh, where we can find, Adam and Eve many, many, many times in the Garden of Eden. You know, uh, yeah, I think I won't find it that fast. You know, but it's you will trust me, right? So you have both of them, eating from the fruit, and then they being expelled from the Garden of Eden, and then them talking to God, and then I don't know, Eve giving Adam the apple and things like that, uh, to represent everything that went on with their lives. So it wouldn't be a surprise if we had two Saint Patricks here. And as a matter of fact, we will, in some of the next pictures, we will have two Saint Patricks. But this is not the case here. Let me tell you, the baby is Saint Patrick. You can kind of guess because he's wearing green, but that's not so much of a certain answer, right? Because this man here is wearing green, but the baby is wearing green and is a saint, right? Of course, today in this painting, Saint Patrick is being baptized. All right? And the man in white in front of St. Patrick, of course, he's a priest, he is a father, right? And he is baptizing St. Patrick. Pay a lot of attention to passive voice. St. Patrick is being baptized. An active voice. The man, the priest, is baptizing St. Patrick. Okay, very nice. And then, of course, if this is a baptism, this woman here is St. Patrick's mother, all right? Okay, well, good enough. Well, this man here, if you pay a lot of attention to his face, you will see that he's not very happy, is he? No, he's not. So, what is he pointing at? Pause the video, answer the question. Well, he is pointing at his eye, right? And what is he holding? Pause the video, answer the question. Well, he's holding a cane, right? And why do people use canes? Pause the video, answer the question. Well, you can use canes for a number of activities, but maybe two are pretty important for us. First, if you are very old, okay. I don't think that's the case here, right? If you look at the man, he's not that old. And second, if you are a blind man, all right? If you cannot see, all right? Which makes a lot of sense if you remember that he's pointing at his eye, right? Well, we already know almost everything. What we don't know is what happened later on. What happened was St. Patrick was baptized, and then this man, the blind man, heard a voice saying that he should get the baby's hand, get the baby with the little hand, draw a cross on the ground, I don't know how the blind man did it, if he talked to the mother, but remember, the mother was a religious woman, so probably when he told her, "Look, I have to draw a cross with your baby's hand on the ground," because I heard a voice, the mother thought, well, either he's very crazy or God talked to him. So maybe the mother was there, very close to them, right, making sure that the blind man wouldn't run away with the kid. And then the blind man did so, drew a cross on the ground using the boy's hand. What happened? Once he did that, a spring appeared. Spring here is when water comes from the ground. Water start coming from the ground, and then this man washed his face with the water, and probably you guessed what happened, right? He started seeing, right? He was cured. That is said to be St. Patrick's first miracle, right? He cured the blind man, right? That man in the background, remember I told you that it's possible that the same person appears two times in a painting? This is what is happening here, but that guy in the background is not St. Patrick. That is the ex-blind man, all right? He became probably a very, very faithful man because as we've talked, he became a saint, right? And when he was very old, one day he built a grave. Grave is like that kind of stone you put when you bury a person, right? You have grave. Another way to say cemetery would be graveyard, right? Because it's a yard full of graves. All right. So he built a grave out of ice. Yes, ice. You know, the ice you put in your Coke if you are an American, because other people don't, right? I think it's disgusting to use ice in the Coke because then, it's too watery. But that's not the point. The point is he built a grave out of ice and prayed to God to send him a sign. And the ice caught on fire, right? So that was the other miracle represented here. Okay. Well, now what would I like you to do? I would like you to pause the video one more time. And now you are going to explain the same picture, but using your own words. Don't forget to mention words like baptism or being baptized, priest or father, Cain, right? Blind man, all right? Spring, not the season, right? Grave, ice, all right? Don't forget to use those words in your explanation. Well, I hope you have done it, because now we'll go to another part of this thing. I will just read. By the way, look, this picture and the other ones were taken from the National Gallery of Ireland, right? From their websites. Here I have the link, which I used to take the picture, and this is what we can find in their website describing this miracle. All right, so let's read together. Just we can improve vocabulary and review. So, the baptism of Patrick, when a blind man miraculously, all right, regains his sight. Sight is the ability to see. All right? Then here we have the Latin inscription, all right? Latin inscription is right here. I don't know how well you read Latin, but my Latin is not that good, so we don't need to read it. The translation for the inscription in Latin, right? After St. Patrick was baptized, a fountain. Keep in mind nowadays when we say fountain, like everyday English, people understand much more like, when you go to a square and then there is a fountain, with water going around. That's a fountain, or a drinking fountain, water fountain, the place you go there, I don't know, at the shopping mall to drink water, right? And so this is the most common usages for the word fountain. So a fountain is sprung, which is the past of spring. The spring I told you some moments ago was a noun. It was like the fountain, right? Now the verb spring is to come forth with energy, right? That's why the spring is called the spring, because water comes from the ground, right? So a fountain is spring off the earth, and a blind man regained his sight. As a grown up, he, the blind man, built a grave out of ice, and with his prayer, he set it on fire. So let's see the story. This story is from the very early life of St. Patrick, or of Patrick, before his arrival in Ireland. It takes place in his homeland of Scotland. So remember, St. Patrick was not Irish. A man called Gormas, blind since birth, heard a voice commanding him to take the hand of the baby Patrick, who had recently been baptized, and to make the sign of the cross on the ground, from which a new fountain would burst like explode, very dramatic, would burst, which would restore the man's sight. Gormas did as instructed, and his sight was restored. And here I will leave you with my last challenge, right? I want you after having read this, if you need, go back and read it one more time or listen to me reading one more time. Look up for words if you don't know any of the words I haven't worked here. Um, and after doing that, try to tell this story one more time, okay?